there, and welcome to the Chasing the Rabbit podcast, a podcast from First Baptist Church of the Islands in Savannah, Georgia. Be sure to follow this podcast. Turn on your notifications to get every episode right on time. Help us out by rating this podcast. Even better, share this podcast with someone who might enjoy it. I'm Brooks. I'll be your host for today's episode, so let's chase some rabbits. All right. Thank you for joining us today. We are excited about doing another episode of the Chasing the Rabbit podcast. We've got all five of us here. We've got a good streak going. We've had five of us here like weeks after weeks after weeks.
We have.
We enjoy doing this. We have a lot of fun doing this.
It's been good.
And so we've got a good little run going. Let's go around the table. Let's introduce ourselves, and we'll start going this direction.
All right. This is Jason, the equipping pastor.
All right. This is J.O. Jeremy Young, the children's pastor.
How's it going, guys? This is Eric, student pastor.
And this is Adam, the worship pastor.
So I look around the table. Usually we have coffee, and it's fall. It's coffee weather, but we're all drinking cold carbonated beverages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Adam, Eric, you had one, right?
It's on the floor.
It's on the floor.
I didn't want to knock it over on the table.
And Adam has his own special. Leave it to the music guy with the vocal cords and everything.
He's got to protect that investment.
He's got to
water.
Yeah, he's got to go careful.
Just water.
I have learned it's not a good move probably to drink a carbonated beverage before you get behind a microphone with a video running.
The audience may not know that we had a belch fest before the podcast started.
That's not making the bloopers, unfortunately. We weren't recording.
It's already cut, edited, and in the trash can. Yes.
Thank you, Jeremy.
That is exactly right. So last week, we had a good conversation. I think it was last week, right, about being a friendly church, those kinds of things. Mm-hmm. It was a good conversation. I mean, we had just good comments and just constantly the need for us to continue being friendly and making ourselves, just welcoming to outsiders. That was one of the big things, too, as well as insiders, because everybody wants to be, treated nicely and those kind of things. I came across something this week that was a bit disturbing. And there is visual evidence, I believe. Adam, can I turn it over to you?
You sure can. We have visual evidence. It's a truck.
Jeremy.
You can see it on the screen.
Do you recognize that truck, Jeremy?
That's a beautiful vehicle.
Yeah, is it one that you drive?
What is this about?
This is funny. My kids actually asked me about this literally today. I parked over there where it says...
Okay, wait.
Hold on.
Yeah,
We're not done with the pictures yet.
I know where you're going with this.
There's a zoomed-in picture.
I can see where you...
What's the size? Oh, wait a minute. So is this Jeremy's? Jeremy, is this your truck parked?
As
in
you
the
can see,
guest parking?
part of the letters are gone. It says gut parking only. And I was like, I got a gut. And
So you thought you should park there?
my kids literally this morning, they're like, Dad, you're not supposed to park here. I'm like, it's only for Sundays.
Can we have a conversation about this?
You only park there on Sundays?
Like, you can't park there on Sundays.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, it's gut parking that's available anytime during the week.
So what about our handicap spots? Are those
parking.
Sunday only?
I don't use those, but I don't think I've ever used those. Sometimes those come with a ticket.
You might
do-
have used those.
Yeah, you do park in the dirt, on the grass, and all these other different places as well.
Non-traditional places.
So we pulled a fast one on you. You didn't know that was coming. I was just wanted to see you squirm a little bit.
I saw a picture of my truck, and I'm like, what is he doing with the picture of my truck?
You were busted. I mean,
were busted.
Park it in the guest parking spot. And we've just talked about being nice
not
and
very
friendly
friendly.
and welcing. And
So you don't have to go through the pain
You're
and the
not very
drama of a business
friendly.
meeting. I will announce my resignation today.
you do have some other explaining to do, but we're going to get to that later, I guess, in the podcast. So we'll come to that place. Hey, we had Pumpkin Fest last night.
We did.
You know,
Had a
for
great
us, we're
time.
recording this on a Monday. What'd you guys think about Pumpkin Fest?
It was good.
It was
Yeah?
good. A lot of people.
Yeah, there was a lot
was
of people.
fun.
How many do you think? We
I
didn't
don't know.
count heads.
No.
A couple hundred.
We were guessing over 200 probably.
That's what I was thinking, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably so. Hot dogs, hamburgers.
more.
You are you more of a dog or a burger person?
Ooh, I went burger, but after I got it, I was like, I should have gone dog. Dogs are a little thicker. I think it would have been
You know why?
tasty.
Did it have cheese on it?
No, something happened to the cheese.
Something happened with the cheese. Yeah. So we had
What happened to the cheese?
We had $30 worth of cheese actually bought and placed in the refrigerator. And I believe none of us remembered that it was in there until most of the burgers
My wife remembered.
were completely cooked. And so how long does cheese last?
I went and got it, so it did get out, but it got out
Okay.
near the end of the line. But yeah,
Okay.
there was.
I was going to say, I remember looking over there one time, and I distinctly remember you with a stack of cheese.
Yeah, I sprinted,
it was like-
I
I don't
sprinted
know why I
inside and got the
remember that
cheese.
right
I was
now.
like, oh,
That's a $30 stack of cheese.
yeah,
Yeah.
some American's finest right there.
Yeah.
American cheese. It was good. I had a double.
Ooh, you
Double-
can do that?
Paula hooked me up. You got to know people.
Double cheese.
Oh,
Yeah,
see,
man.
that would have been good.
It was good.
Maybe since we have a lot of
go back and do
leftover
it again.
cheese, maybe we need to do grilled cheese fest.
Ooh,
We can do that in
That'd be good.
November.
be messy.
That'd
That
be
grill is
good,
going
actually.
to scorch them, though. We might use that as something.
So when you eat grilled cheese, do you eat it with anything else? Because
Tomato
Tomato
soup.
Yeah,
soup.
you
Where
have
it's
to
at,
do
man.
tomato soup.
that's Susie and Hannah especially. I can't do it. I mean, the soggy bread and the liquid.
it's so good. Man.
Oh, yeah.
It's a
I don't
textural-
necessarily dip it, but, I do eat it together.
I dip it.
yeah, they
I
love-
dip,
Yeah,
yeah.
they,
Yeah.
they
Who was it? Was it Reagan's wedding? They had the French. I mean, they had the little thing of tomato soup, and it was like grilled cheese strip dip things for Reagan's
That's
wedding.
cool.
Jones. That was really good.
That's cool.
Yeah, I can't do soggy bread. French dip, that's off the table
Oh, that's such a
completely.
good sandwich. I'm getting hungry now. We have lunch
Yeah.
bunch, don't we?
We do. We have
Yeah.
lunch bunch too.
Nice.
What? So tell me this. Let's get personal here for a moment as we talk about lunch bunch. For those who are listening that don't know what lunch bunch is, it is a monthly event that is for our senior adult ministry that they are gracious enough to invite us to. And it is about lunch. It is one Monday afternoon a month for the most part. Summer's off. And it's a good spread of food. So when you walk into Lunch Bunch, what item is it that you see? We didn't rehearse this at all. You don't know this is coming. That when you see it, you think, oh, yeah, it's on. What is it? Anything?
For me, there's some kind of usually a sweet potato.
I was just
Yeah,
about to
thing.
answer with
Yes.
Yeah, like a sweet potato casserole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good stuff.
It's
right
on
there.
the food table, but it really should be on the dessert table.
It easily could be.
Yeah.
You know what I don't recommend? The squash soup. Do you remember that year I got the squash soup?
I don't remember. Did it not turn out well?
Well, so sometimes.
Oh, I kind of remember. You didn't
sometimes
know
they'll-
what was that, right?
No, sometimes they'll do a soup day.
Yeah.
And so at the end were 3 bowls like this, and they had yellow, what I thought was squash soup. So I got a bowl, I took it to the table, and I went and I did a spoonful of it, and it was honey mustard for the chicken.
You took you
I
ate
took a big old bite out of it. I was like, "That's not squash soup."
got extra squash.
Special squash.
Good.
soup.
How about you, Adam? Anything for you when you see it? You're like, oh, this is the best one. This is a good one.
It would probably be
The same thing.
the sweet potato stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Eric, same for you.
No,
Oh,
I
what
like the
is it?
butter beans, man.
Butter beans.
I'm
Yeah,
a butter
yeah,
beans guy.
yeah,
Those are my fave.
Yeah, that's good.
I'll get like 2 spoonfuls.
Do you touch the dish to make sure they're hot? Because there are some dishes I have
Yeah.
to touch to see if it's hot. If it's
can
not
take
hot,
it,
I
but
can't go there.
Cold's okay,
Yeah.
but it's good. That's my fave.
I think I'm picky. I might be a little more.
You think?
I think I might be a little too picky. I don't know.
He thinks he's picky.
I mean, there are some dishes if it's gotten cold because it's been sitting out for half an hour, you don't want to go there. I mean, if it's like a rice dish and it's just gummy and cold,
Now you don't like things touching either,
It
right?
depends on what it is, but generally, no, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got a little bento box he's rolling on with.
I like how I asked the question expecting that we're going to agree with him.
What?
We're exactly like that.
I touch all the dishes and the food. And then
Drink some honey mustard on the way out.
So you want to go before
get
before
in line
Jeremy.
before Jeremy.
The compartmentalized food dish, the little plates with the compartments.
Divided plates, yeah.
Not the ones that you cover the to-go things, but yeah, the ones with the little dividers. That's just one of the greatest inventions. Only slightly behind the printing press. That was
Sherry
one.
buys those especially for you. You know
She
that.
does. Yeah.
Does she for real?
For you.
I feel super
They're
special.
like
should.
40 cents extra per plate, but we get them
No.
I'm just teasing. They're not.
I'm not worth it. I'm not worth that.
They're not.
perks of being a senior
Anytime you've
pastor.
mentioned that in a sermon illustration, though, I think like in a few weeks after, you start getting people giving you compartmentalized plates.
Yeah, I got a whole dinner set of dishes once. Yeah, years
It's like
and
your
years
love
ago.
language is the gift of compartmentalized plates.
Yeah. So I guess I have to be careful what I preach about, what I use as an illustration or something. So, hey, we did a little secret contest last week. And I say secret because most of you apparently, we have more than just a couple people listen to the podcast from what we can tell. But we only had a handful of people respond to the secret contest. And you say, wait a minute, Brooks, I listened to the Chasing the Rabbit podcast last week, and I don't know anything about this contest. It was a secret embedded contest, right?
In the
Adam?
last 30 seconds.
The last 30
It was
seconds.
an end credit scene.
So why don't we play that last part of the episode that everyone just about missed, except for a handful of people? Then we're gonna declare a winner here in just a moment.
Let's do it.
Thank you for tuning in to the Chase of the Rabbit podcast, a podcast from First Baptist Church of the Islands. New episodes appear every Tuesday. If you're still listening now at these credits as they roll, we're going to give you an opportunity to win a T-shirt. Email your name to contact@fbcislands.com. We will draw your name. Be sure to do it before Monday, October 23rd, and we will announce in the next episode who wins. We will see you next time. And I believe today is Monday, October 23rd, correct?
Today is
as we
indeed
are recording this.
Monday,
and so
October 23rd.
we have to fulfill our obligation. So we snuck that in. We talked about in the lead of the episode last week. Do you stick around for the credits at the movies?
Mm-hmm.
That was part of a plan. Yep. And so
Very
now
well
we have
played.
to declare a winner. So it's a Chasing the Rabbit T-shirt. Should we demonstrate the T-shirt or should we do the drawing first?
Let's demonstrate the T-shirt.
Okay, and so we do need to demonstrate the T-shirt, and so we're going to turn our attention to our T-shirt model now. J.O. Jeremy Young, do we have some musical?
I'm glad that was empty.
Oh, do we have musical intro for that?
I think we do, didn't we? Weren't we ready for like a little special?
Oh, I know the one you're.
Yeah.
Yes,
Hold on, Jeremy.
Make
the
sure
model.
it's appropriate here.
Your hair's
Hold on.
looking
Yeah,
good, buddy.
you got to make sure you're ready. Are you ready, Jeremy?
Did you get that? Did you get that visor at Cookout?
Okay. Yeah. Look, you can win this brand new Chasing the Rabbit T-shirt produced by a company called Gildan. Comes in a variety of sizes, variety of colors, made of 100% material. Yes. The Chasing the Rabbit podcast T-shirt could be yours.
You don't have the same amount of buttons you started with. You shot half of them at me,
And
I saw one. Yeah, one
two
hit.
of them hit me.
Yeah.
Are we gonna wash it before we
Was that a
award it, or does he just? Do they get it?
Get some Jeremy stank on
Do
it.
they get Jeremy Stank as
You
a
know
part
how
of the shirt?
Essence of Jeremy.
You know how certain museums they have, like an outfit that was genuinely worn by Elvis or whatever. And I think we could just give this one away.
I think we could. It's
No, we'll
one of a
order.
kind.
We'll get a
It's
mannequin.
one of a kind.
We'll order a new one. So before we draw, that was well done, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't mess your hair up.
I never ripped a shirt before. I felt like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
I was really impressed.
Yeah, I didn't think he was gonna get through all the buttons.
I
to
was
be honest.
waiting. Yeah, I was ready for a good laugh.
things
I'm
flew.
like, he's not going to be able to get his.
Well, when you're
buttons
this
off.
strong. I mean.
I have to ask before we draw. Where'd you get the shirt? That shirt.
This Goodwill
Okay.
for our wild, wacky, techie night for Olympians that we do in the fall, winter. I got to get a new one now.
you're gonna have to
Yeah.
sew some new buttons in there.
Or sew some
Put some
buttons on.
snaps on it. I got a snap kit. We can hook you up, man.
Get you some snaps.
Some pearl buttons.
some pearl
That's
snaps.
what you need. Yeah.
That was good though.
Are we going to let Jeremy draw since
Yeah,
he?
it's only fitting.
All right.
So we've got
get that
a
out the
few
way.
here in the
He
Chasing
styled
the
his hair
Rabbit
for this
bucket.
one today too.
I close
He
my
did.
eyes.
Yeah.
Close your eyes.
Got his cookout hat.
All right, no peeking.
Use it.
And
All right.
you can show it too because we're on video. So after you,
The winner is Ashley Smith.
Ashley Smith, yes, very nice. So what we will need is an exact size. Jeremy, would you say the shirts run true to
There we go.
size?
Find my notes.
I'm not true to my size as I used to be about a couple months ago. I think it's a little tight.
So should
we'll get her a
Ashley-
new one.
So yeah,
she probably don't want this one.
We're going to do that anyway. Yes, we were going to do that. So
Can we get Ashley to email us her size?
So this is a large. I mean, would you say maybe if you really wore large, does that run a little smaller than a normal large you're used to, or what?
I don't know. I
don't
don't know.
wear
I haven't been a
large,
large in a while.
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah.
So we'll just say it's true to size and hope for the best.
Yeah.
So we'll let Ashley choose. So Ashley, if you're listening, you can email us and let us know. You've already emailed us once to put yourself in your name in the list, and you have one. So email us back. Let us know what size you would like. We will special order that from the Chasing the Rabbit warehouse. That's in an undisclosed location.
Yeah.
Can we do different colors?
We could. Yeah.
There's never been a color other than white.
We
There's
can
only
do a
been
different
one other one that's been actually produced, right?
One
Well,
other.
besides
Ashley can send in her color choice as well.
yeah, our color choice. That sounds good. Yeah,
That'd be good.
like
Yeah.
blue or red. I'm just kidding.
I used to work at J. Crew when I was younger, but it wasn't J. Crew. Like I think they have a few stores in the mall, but it was a call-in. So I remember saying that all the time, color choice. And people would be like, well, try the shirt on. Let me know how it feels or what. I'm like, it's a woman's shirt. I got her to something. I don't know. I guess it looks nice.
I feel that it looks nice.
You'll look wonderful in it.
You'll look better than me. Guaranteed.
Let's rescue this podcast episode.
Yeah, it's probably time to take a little break. So we're going to hear from Ashley. She's going to let us know the details, what size, what color, and we'll let her know when it's here. So congratulations, Ashley. All right, let's take a little break right here.
We're excited to let you know about something that's coming up very soon. On November 5th, in our 10:30 second hour worship service, Kale and Christine Pruitt are going to be leading a Bible study called Counterculture. It's written by David Platt, and it's going to be over 6 weeks, but they'll take a little break the week after Thanksgiving. But this is going to be a chance to be able to go deep in understanding how we can respond to a lot of the issues that we face within our culture today and how we do it from a compassionate call with the gospel. And so if you are interested in this study, we'd love to have you be a part of it. This is hopefully going to be a springboard to a new Bible study group that'll start up in the new year. So it's a good chance for Kel and Christine to get started with that group. And if you're interested in getting into that, or if you don't have a group of your own, this is a great way to get started. You can come to the 9 o'clock service and then be in that Counterculture Bible study at 10:30 a.m. beginning November 5th.
So I was just looking up a passage of scripture to use in just a moment when we have our conversation. But let me just say about that Bible study. If I was choosing a Bible study, I haven't been to grow groups in years. It sounds horrible, right? Because we have 2 services and I preach both of them. But if I was choosing a class, that would be one that would really catch my attention because of the subject matter. Counterculture, that's the name of it. Mm-hmm. So hot topics, that's what we're going to be.
Yeah, I mean, it just even the cover, it says, in a world of poverty, same-sex marriage, racism, sex slavery, immigration, persecution, abortion, orphans, pornography.
Sounds like the side effects in a medicine commercial.
I don't know what medicine the world's been taking, but
you want to do that that voice.
It's the side effects of sin in the world.
No bueno.
In a world filled with sin, there is one.
Yeah, but it's how do we have a compassionate call to be the counterculture? How do we live out the gospel and speak the gospel into that world?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I would want to be in that class. It's very needed. It's definitely needed.
Yeah.
So the whole class isn't just going to be talking about those topics from here until Jesus returns. This is like the start-off conversation.
Well, they
like the
could.
focus part, right?
Right. This is just
the
one
class
study.
is not
We've actually
called
picked out something in January, too. The class doesn't have a name yet. Once we launch the group officially, I'll work with Kale, Christine, and the group to pick a name and go from there. Probably the second hour group, once they get started, is going to be a little more targeted towards kind of our median to younger adults in that second hour, because our groups that we've got right now in the second hour is more senior adult. And so we've really got a need right there.
What age category would you put Pastor Brooks in? Median to younger or senior?
I would call him in that median category.
Wow.
Thank you, Jason.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We let seniors self-identify
Would you like me to make your plate for you today at lunch? I'll be glad to. That was wonderful.
Yeah. So my dad did senior adult ministry after he retired from full-time pastoring. And one requirements and request of the church he went to go serve at was, he said, I want to lower the age of senior adult in the church to 55. No. And I was like, there's a lot of people in our church that would not like that.
No.
So,
I mean, it's 70 at least.
Yeah. And he wanted it at 55 because he was trying to get some younger people to be a part of it. So, to be a part of senior adult.
55 alive.
So it's kind of like, if you're 55 and above, you're welcome to come, but we do that as well here. We don't tell you when you got to go to the senior adult class or when you go to the senior adult luncheon. You're welcome to come whenever you feel like you're ready.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to do our best to actually talk about some Bible stuff today. It is going to be a challenge because of Jeremy's new grown hair that he has. Somehow you sprinkled something up there, I guess.
Hey.
You got you a nice.
It's been holding it in.
It's looking nice. As we talked about earlier, you do need a logo or something on that. It looks like a
brush,
cookout.
maybe.
Yeah.
It looks like a cookout hamburger worker.
Would you like a corn dog with those 2 burgers?
But congrats on the hair. We like it. And the shirt, too. So we've been working through this series called Jesus Come and See. And yesterday we focused on Jesus' ministry. 3.5 years of public ministry, roughly. And when I was preparing this message, I came up with a lot of these random, just interesting kind of facts that I rolled out at different places kind of within the message. One of those was that 8 times Jesus accepted an invitation to dinner. I'd never even thought about that necessarily. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
You know, and so we kind of looked at some of the people, the various types of people Jesus hung out with. I've heard someone make the comment before, so, you know, another like well-known pastor, that people who were nothing like Jesus, how was it he said? People who were nothing like Jesus liked being with Jesus, you know, and it was, you know, it's just, when you look at his ministry, it was so varied when he walked this earth, and he impacted so many different types of people. So when you think about his ministry, maybe a little bit of what we pulled out yesterday or just another random thought, what are some thoughts that come to mind for you? What are some things that you want to roll out there to think, you know, this is kind of interesting when we think about Jesus's ministry? Any thoughts?
I liked how you tied in that his mission and his message and his ministry, that they were all connected, that it was all in one. I was surprised you were reading Matthew 9:36 and 37, and I actually went back and read 35 and thought that actually is kind of a good summary for that point you were making.
You missed it, Brooks.
No, I thought I was
what
like,
is it? I miss it all the time.
Jesus went throughout all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom and healing every disease and every affliction.
Yeah.
So it's like in verse 35, you get exactly what you were saying. Those 3 points, you know, of ministry, mission, and message, that all 3 were correlated. That was the core of what he was doing. He wasn't just doing healing ministry or just doing ministry everywhere he went. He wasn't just talking about the kingdom and not having compassion on people. And he wasn't just going and just talking about things without, you know, focusing on his mission of bringing people into that kingdom. So it's all correlated. It's all connected.
That's a good point. Yeah. I should have. I'm so stupid. Should have used that verse.
No, I was
Everybody
waiting
come
for
back
you.
Sunday. We're going to preach on this.
I was
all
waiting for you to come back to it. I totally thought you were
that's
going to get on
great.
35 there.
You're right. It fits perfectly. It does. It supports all of that. Yeah. Good point. Somebody else? Another thought?
I like the layers of connection in Jesus' ministry, because there's plenty of seasons or times where he's got a ton of people that he's impacting. And then there's other times where there's 12 that he's impacting. There's other times there's 3 that he's impacting, you know? And so being able to have that layer in our own lives, in our own ministries, is important. I think oftentimes we try to hit the most possible because that's like the mentality we have. In reality, we miss connections that way. So finding all those levels of connection in our own lives, I think, is kind of an important part.
Excellent point. And we do kind of replicate that in our ministry, in our church, in a lot of ways, you know, because we've got the big mass, you know, group. Mass, maybe I should. Yeah, we do services, not mass, but
That's down the road.
masses of people. And, you know, so Sunday morning, you've got the big groups, and then we've got grow groups that are smaller, and then we've got the D groups that
Right.
are even smaller. We've got the breakout ministries like children, students, you know, choir ministry, you know, they've got their own group as well, you know, those kind of things. So we're one church, but there are various sizes of audiences, so to speak.
Yeah.
And all of them are important. That's a really neat thought. Yeah. Somebody else?
Here's a little bit of a heart check. You know, in those verses you were reading, it said Jesus saw the crowds and had compassion on them, which is kind of amazing because he knew everybody's heart. Like, I just look at the world and I'm like, I can't stand the world sometimes. And part of the reason, here's the heart check, and it's just me as just as much as anybody else. Part of the reason we don't do as much ministry is because we don't really care about others. We care about ourselves, and we only want to love on people who love us back. Ministry is loving on people who are probably never going to give you anything in return. And it's very difficult. And that's why you have to have a strong support system at your church and in your daily walk with the Lord, because ministry will exhaust you, and it'll ruffle your feathers.
Yeah, you got to have things that pour into your tank, because that will, you know, it will kind of drain the tank in some ways. I mean, we don't want to seem like we're just complaining, because we're not. It's exhilarating. None of us at this table would want to do anything other.
Well, like
than
ministering to
what we're
people at
doing.
our church is great. They're usually loving back. It's when you get out the doors and people don't really care, or they'll just take whatever handout you have, and they're not going to give you anything in return. Or you may only get one good story out of 100 interactions.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, those one good stories, that's what keeps you going. It's like, oh, that was a hit, or that person put their faith in Jesus, and you're walking on the clouds for a while. But it's having that compassion, because to be able to see how people act and not get mad at them, but to think, okay, maybe they didn't grow up the way I grew up. Maybe I haven't heard the gospel. You know, yes, I understand everybody has their own free will, everybody sins, but I was lost once too. I could be right where they're at. And to still show compassion and still love on them, that's the heart of ministry. Because if you don't have that, then you're really missing it. What is it in 1 Corinthians 13, right? You could speak in tongues, you could do all these amazing things, but if you don't have love, what good is it?
Your clanging cymbal.
Yeah, and that's a good distinction too, that when you're ministering to people within your own church family, like we're going to go to lunch bunch in 20 minutes and we're going to get full. We're going to get full of sweet potato stuff, hopefully too. But I mean, we're going to be encouraged, and those ladies and those guys in there, I mean, they love us and we love them as well. But we're going to go away full. It's just like, that's just all. There's a reason we're all excited about lunch bunch and that we all show up. And it's not just for the food, obviously, it's the people in there. But you're right, outside the walls of the church, where we're called to, we talked about yesterday about going on their turf, outside the walls of the church. Yeah, that's where it does kind of, it can kind of deplete your energy to some degree. You love serving people and you want to do that. You don't want to do anything else, but you do have to have some things that fill your tank too, right? Because like you said, not everyone's going to be excited about you wanting to try to help them,
Think about how many times you see Jesus trying to get away from the crowds. And there were even times they'd chase him down and keep going after him. And he was trying to, but the reason he was trying to get away from them, not was because he was frustrated or tired of them. He just needed time with the Father.
Yeah.
And so we can't expect to do any ministry successfully towards other people if we don't have that same resource that we tap into that relationship with God.
Yeah.
Excellent point. These are all good points. Somebody else? What about this? So we listed some implications. If we share the same mission, the same message, and the same ministry of Jesus, of course, there are certain things that he did that we're not going to do. We're not going to die on a cross for the salvation of the world, for example. But we looked at the implications that if we're going to extend what he was all about when he walked this earth, one was that our ministry must be on other people's turf. Another, it must put others ahead of ourselves. Another was we must accept that our ministry will be messy and costly. And then the fourth one was our ministry must always link with the mission of leading people to Jesus. It's not just about doing a bunch of good and keeping Jesus out of it. Which of those four would you say can be the most challenging? Meeting people on their turf, just simply putting others ahead of ourselves, accepting that it's going to get messy and costly, or linking it with the message of the gospel with Jesus? Is there one that's especially challenging for you?
I don't know for me personally, but culturally, I think the linking it to Jesus is a big issue. Like we're doing a series with students, TikTok Theology right now. And there's a ton of people that are social justice warriors, but they never put Jesus back into it. And there's a lot of good that needs to be done. I'm not knocking that.
Right.
But if it's just good out of our own hand, is it really good? Like we've got to put Jesus back into it. So I think that one in particular is culturally hard to put into practice.
Yeah.
I think since COVID, a lot of people would struggle with even the first one, meeting people on their own turf and putting others' needs ahead of your own, because we got so closed up, we got so closed off, that I think a lot of times meeting people on their turf and going outside of our comfort zone has gotten to be very uncomfortable, even more so than it was before.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you said, it's easy here. I mean, people, like you mentioned in your sermon, people don't just come anymore like they used to. But it's easy here because we're good at it here. And sometimes when people do come, they feel uncomfortable here because they don't know how to act. But it's easy here. But yes, when you go out on the other turf, the other team's home field advantage, it gets difficult. It gets dicey, because you're like, how do I say this? Should I say this the right way? And I don't want to offend anybody. And that's where it gets difficult, because sometimes the gospel is offensive because you're telling people that they're lost in their sin. But you're doing it because you love them and you want to help them get away from that. You want to help them get transformed into a new life in Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. It's an important component of every church. It should be, at least. For us, we have 6 words that describe what our whole mission is. It comes right out of the New Testament: love Jesus, serve others, make disciples. And ministry falls in with all 3 of those. We do it because we love Jesus. That's what he did. He set the pattern for us. Ministry is serving others, but it also connects to making disciples. And Jesus did it better than anybody. It's weird to say he did it because he's still ministering to people now. He just does it through us. And if we're AWOL or unavailable for service, then in a lot of ways ministry doesn't happen. And that's not just us. It's everybody who bears the name of Jesus as well. Any parting comment before we close it out and wrap it up?
I love you guys.
Oh,
We love you, Jeremy. Even your new hairdo.
Just trying to look younger.
Hey,
Don't ruin it for me.
what is it you always say? Forever young.
Forever young.
Let's close it out.
Wow, please.
Thank you for tuning in to the Chasing the Rabbit podcast, a podcast from First Baptist Church of the Islands. New episodes appear every Tuesday, so be sure to follow, turn on your notifications. Help us out by rating this podcast. Even better, share this podcast with someone who may enjoy it. Also, check out our website, fbcislands.com, or subscribe to our YouTube channel, FBC of the Islands. We have no prize today, but we will see you next time.